I arrived as an illegal jump seaman in 1970. Previous to that, I'd been in Australia in 1966, and so I've really been in Aussie as a illegal jump seaman, a permanent resident for 40 years this year. So a long time I've been and experienced what happens in Australia. I was I feel no allegiance to the Union Jack on the flag, and even though I sailed with that on the stern of every ship, and most ships have on that, I had no allegiance to the Union Jack. Well, I don't call it Australia Day. I call it Invasion Day, like the Aboriginal people of this country does, and it is the day that the First Fleet, I think it was, it come out here and invaded Australia. My family in Australia is Kulmatri, Narangiri. I have a Narangiri son, and he was born where I belong, back in Shetland, you know what I mean? World Health Organization has just said that Aboriginal people in Australia are the worst treated Indigenous people anywhere in the world, as far as in a first world country, one of the richest countries in the world. Aboriginal people are dying 20 years younger than white people. I mean, it's really a disgrace. And also there's an invasion happened a couple of years ago here, where the army moved into the Northern Territory and occupied Aboriginal. I mean, where anywhere else in the world would you get something like that and accept it? I mean, this is what a fair go is all about. I mean, how unjust is that? It's very clear there's a huge denial of any racism in this country, and yet it's so institutionalized. It is everywhere, and a lot of people don't acknowledge it, and it's seen as anybody who's the other here, and I mean the other than Anglo, is not really accepted yet, even though some people from different communities have achieved great, what do you call it, they've a great level of rank in this country. It doesn't mean to say that underneath all that is a huge racism. This is Aboriginal land, the Wathaurong people. Also, my family is Aboriginal. And to me, this flag represents the blood of the people, as well as the colour of the land, and the colour of the people, black, and the sun. You know, I think it is one of the most amazing, powerful symbols of any flag. Because I was in Federation Square with 10,000 other people, and the Aboriginal elders, the stolen generation, was there. I had my young boy sitting with me on the deck. We were sitting down in front of the stage, and my boy's auntie and uncle were performing. They were two of the stolen generation, Uncle Archie Roach and Auntie Ruby Hunter, you know. And they performed, and I know there was a huge I'd say pain and suffering that was taken away from Aboriginal people, but nothing can replace if you've been stolen from your family. So you have to move on to what's the government going to do? And first of all, they see no responsibility in any financial way of giving. They see no responsibility for any treaty. As soon as you mention putting anything down on paper and accepting that you're on another person's land, that Terra Nullius really is, you know what I mean? So, you know, uninhabited land. And as soon as you start to challenge that, then as usual, the powers that be here just think of it will cost us money. Well, I think sometimes when you've been part of the way along your journey, what you call your life, you realise that a lot of things, your path was set out for you, And I really think that is true. The path that I walk on has already been set out for me, you know, and because the people I met when I first jumped ship and was introduced to, it all came about because the Secret Service here, ASIO, was recommended that I not be allowed to stay, and it sort of put me on the path towards some of the most amazing people in the world at the time, and they were all Builders Labourers Federation officials in rank and file in New South Wales. I mean, the fact is that that's where my path was directed when ASIO was trying to expel me. And I met one of the most amazing human beings, Jack Mundy, and he's since been my lifelong friend, and Bobby Pringle, the president of the union, and also Joe Owens, who was an organizer and became the secretary, and the women of the BLF. The connection that we had with Aboriginal people, and the first time I was arrested for a political reason in Australia was at a big land rights demonstration in Redfern, and I spent a night in jail with what I think was the heroes of the world at the time, and one of them was Tom Uren, and I met Tom Uren in a prison cell. And Tom Uren, if people who don't know Tom Uren spent many years in the Changi, not only in Changi but on the Death Railway with Weary Dunlop, and we sang revolutionary songs in a cell together. And here's one of the most, you know, he later became a minister in the Whitlam government, and he still is one of the most amazing heroes of you know, contemporary Australia, you know, surviving a death railway and putting himself in jail with unionists. You know, and I'm very proud to be a member of the Victorian branch of the CFMU. You know, that are really very strong in a trade union sense branch. But they do hold their hands out to in solidarity to Aboriginal people, but it is not to the same extent as it was in the 1970s. And I'm saying that that was a period where there was a lot of struggles going on. So I suppose we can look at that period as it keeps me going now, what happened in the 60s and 70s, because I know the potential. And the potential is that you organise as a trade union against war, you organise as a trade union in solidarity with Aboriginal people, you organise as a trade union in solidarity with struggles in other countries. I think that's the future, and you also organise to protect the environment, because the green bands came out of the New South Wales branch. We fought to stop the destruction of not only the native bushland at Kelly's Bush, but all the built environs like the Rocks. The Rocks is the most visited site in the whole of Australia at this particular moment. There is more people visiting the Rocks, and we saved it. Workers and the community, the residents of that community, who had been there for generations. They were wharfies and they were seamen. All lived in that area since the first white invasion, and we united, and that's the future. People got to unite together. You know, we also fought for gay rights. We fought. You know, it was stop work to stop the war. I was part of that. It was just amazing. In what I've been telling you is, I think that's what Australia means to me. It's not about celebrating a day that this country was invaded. It's not about celebrating a particular type of Australian, which comes across more and more in times of tension, as make sure it is white and Anglo. I don't see that as a celebration, and yet by waving a Union Jack around, I think that's what you are saying. It doesn't include anybody, that Union Jack. It is a colonizer.